Hey everyone, DFA here, welcome back to the channel, and yeah, I'm going to take a look at the Arp Maya today. Honestly, I really don't care a lot about these fake anime ships. I was fine about the Azure Lane thing, I had no idea what that thing actually was, because it's just cosmetics, but here I think Wargaming is taking something or a direction that is a little bit more dangerous. And yeah, unlike I would say the Warhammer ships, which I honestly didn't really care about, this one is a little bit more tricky, and I like to call it out for what it actually is. So let us take a look at its stats to understand. And there it is next to the Maya. So it's supposed to be an anime version of the Maya, but is it really? Because it's a little bit more complicated than that. It does have the same properties as the Maya, the same length, the same amount of hit points, same concealment, same acceleration. Actually, no, it accelerates a little bit better. It also turns a little bit better. Okay, it's fine. Premium being better than another premium, and then the guns, that's where it gets a little bit tricky, because if you know the positioning of the Maya, it's essentially a Takao that is trading one turret, so two guns, for a better AA, so you kind of have to pick your battles with that thing. It's a fairly underwhelming ship. Well, this one decides to say, screw you, I'm going to take the guns of the Takao and I'm going to put them on the Maya, so essentially negating the main balancing argument behind the Maya. So that means that your DPM goes up quite significantly from 31,000 to 38,000. The fire chance goes up as well. So yeah, it's actually a pretty good increase over the Maya. The torpedoes are the same. They're absolutely excellent, but you do get something called, I don't know what the exact name was, I'm sorry, but something like super torpedoes, 3 salvos per battle. That are essentially going to increase the torpedo speed and concealment by a ridiculous amount, something like 20%. And keep in mind, we are talking about Japanese torpedoes here, so they're already pretty well concealed and pretty fast. And yeah, at the expense of something like a ridiculous reduction in traverse, something like 5%. So that's a straight up, completely overpowered buff for the Maya here. Excellent torpedoes now, and the cooldown of that new capability is conveniently timed at 70 seconds, which is more or less on par with the reload time of the Maya. So essentially you can use it every time you fire torpedoes without a significant penalty, and of course you retain the same AA as the Maya, because why not? And then it's much better than the Takao and the other Japanese premiums at the tier. And so yeah, I did ask Wargaming if that was the intended purpose, and yes, that is absolutely their intention. They're actually taking a premium ship, kind of reversing its only downside with regards to another Tech 3 ship, because let's be honest, the Maya for me is inferior to the Takao, and it's made furthermore obsolete with the AA capabilities of the new Japanese light cruisers. And they're kind of so merging the best of those two lines there, and they're actually giving it an extra torpedo skill, which did not really need it, and which makes it in terms of torpedoes pretty much broken, honestly. Let's be honest here for a second. Japanese torpedoes with an increase of 20% in concealment and speed, ouch, 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 ouch. So essentially Wargaming decided to say screw you to any kind of balancing, and just to be clear, this is not an overpowered ship by any means. It's still a Japanese cruiser, so I think now it's a competitive ship, but it's certainly not overpowered. Because yeah, there simply are better options at the tier, but it makes the Maya and the Takao and all their affiliates completely irrelevant. We could argue about the light cruiser, so I personally still prefer my Black Shimanto, because this one was in a Blitz pass, and this one is incredibly expensive to get. If you actually looked at the crates in the event, this will cost you more to get than the Arpeggios Yamato. So yeah, that's already telling you something, right? So I think it's pure pay to win or bait and click tactic. I don't know how you want to call this. And just be aware that this indeed was the original intent. So it was not a mistake. They did not by accident put the turrets on the Takao on the hull of the Maya. the intention was to create an unbalanced Japanese cruiser from the beginning. So there you go. Now that it is here, what do we do about it? Well, first of all, I think it's the reason why I was not really complaining too much about the wargaming ships. I don't like fictional ships. I know that most of the ships in the game are kind of fictional. They're based on like this one, for example, the Zetan. But they're at least have some kind of a connection to the reality, and they're not openly saying screw you to the other ships of the same class and the same nation that are at the same tier. So you see me hitting the island as usual subscribe button, but there you go. What you saw me do here was actually trying to bait the Zetan into following me, because that is how you play those Japanese cruisers. You try to get a ship to follow you and you torpedo it to death. It did not work, so I'm going to cool down for a couple of seconds. Yeah, I'm not going to do that apparently. I'm going to punish him because he's busy with a destroyer in front of it. But yeah, that's essentially the playbook of Japanese cruisers, and that's why I'm saying that they are not overpowered by any means, simply because it's a playbook that you really struggle to apply on a lot of maps. If you do not have an open map, if you have an epicenter or central control map, well, good luck turning around in front of the enemy team and trying to torpedo them. It's really not easy indeed. But yeah, they're setting a very dangerous precedent in my opinion here, and it has to be called out for what it is, which is simply releasing, I would say, much stronger versions of already existing ships and selling them at an increase. Yeah, that's the torpedo tube enhancement, whatever thing. And yeah, you see the torpedoes, they are absolutely flying towards their target. They're going as fast as EU torpedoes now, but they're dealing twice the damage. So yeah, and remember, yeah, it's a Japanese cruiser, so you have them on both sides of the ship. So for good measure, we're going to, there you go, we're going to use them on the other side as well, keeping, and you see that the kind of the downside of the ship, the reduction in traverse, it's absolutely not preventing us from maneuvering and going to hide behind that island to keep some protection between us and the rest of the enemy team. So there you go, a couple of hits on the Wichita, who certainly was not expecting these torpedoes to arrive that early, that fast at him, and yeah, now it's a pretty much easy target for me. Yeah, I'm switching to Happy for, yeah, I'm not sure why honestly, because I could very easily finish him with HE with that amount of hit points, but there you go. Boom, let's send him to the bottom of the sea, and yeah, that's the first victim of these super fast torpedoes now. So yeah, should you get that thing? Well, if you are a whale, and you probably already have that ship anyway, so there you go. But yeah, is it going to be better than all the other Japanese cruisers at the tier? Certainly better than the heavy cruisers. Japanese cruisers, it's actually questionable, because I really do enjoy the 360 degrees turrets. But yeah, this one is not bad. It's actually a pretty good ship now. No surprise. I personally would not spend the amount of money that they are requiring for something that is ultimately a tier 8 cruiser, a good tier 8 cruiser, but certainly not the best. And you can certainly, let me put it this way, it's going to be better than the light cruiser simply because the torpedoes are much more efficient. Take a look at that now. There you go, torpedo enhancement. I'm going to spam them in the direction of the enemy team, and they're totally not expecting the torpedoes to come at them so quickly. So yeah, for that reason alone, it's already pretty dangerous. But yeah, it's also with a very heavy price tag. So yeah, that's of course it's your call, and you do what you want with your money. If you want to encourage that kind of practices, well, there you go. But I really don't like the idea of adding skills to the game that Tech 3 ships or premium ships possess without a significant counterpart, because if you look at what they've done with the Yamato, the Arpeggio Yamato, whatever you want to call it, it's exactly the same thing. You get a massive improvement in turret rotation and penetration, if I'm not mistaken, at the expense of a ridiculous reduction in speed, which you don't really care about in the first place, being a super heavy battleship. So there you go. That was my take on this. I'm afraid that the game is taking the path of World of Tanks Blitz, where you keep adding stupid fictional boats which have abilities out of this world, Draculas and Helsings and whatever you want to call them. So yeah, let's hope we do not get to that point. And in the meantime, that was DFA signing out. Stay safe, take care, bye bye.